Sports.
Like fencing.
Good evening, and guys, this weekend is a national holiday. I think it should be, because it's Sportsathon. We have had a really fun day of sports action already, and we're not even halfway done. Very special Sportsathon voice coming up today. We have 4 incredible guests because we're just that excited. Had to get an extra person on. And yeah, it's going to be Sports Voice, but even more electric. Claire, how are we doing today? And then we'll introduce our guests.
We are doing great, Sammy. Welcome back, everyone, to Sportsathon 2025. Sportsathon is the station's sole fundraiser and helps ensure that we maintain our equipment, travel to Northwestern sporting events across the country, and bring you the best coverage of Wildcat athletics. You can go to WNURsports.com and click on Sportsathon to donate and take a look at this year's outstanding premiums, including WNUR Sports hoodies, hats, and stickers.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I tried to put a link where you can go click that and donate in our description. Try that out, and you can leave a comment if that's not working, and we will figure that out. So now it's time to introduce our lovely guests. I think everyone here has been on Sports Voice before, but we have some returners that haven't been in a minute. So I just want to go down, everyone, say your name, and say what you're most excited for this Sports Voice.
I'm the guy that a couple weeks ago kind of caused friction with Claire. Talking about the Dodgers, but it's Matt Campbell again. We're back on Super Mega Electric Sports Voice. So I'm excited. I'm excited to, one thing I'm most excited about is the pick'em. We're gonna get super nostalgic in a little bit. I can't wait to talk some big sports moments. I'm not gonna spoil it. Let me pass on the mic to Eli. So I'm back. I'm excited to be here.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Eli. It's good to be back on Sports Voice. It's been a while. I am very much looking forward to talking college basketball, and even though it's a rough day for Northwestern basketball, still at it, and yeah, happy to be here.
Yo, what's up? It's Caleb. I haven't been on Sports Voice in so long, I feel like.
Glad to have you back.
I think I'm probably most excited for the NFL talk, little frustrated with the teams that are in the Super Bowl again for the second time in like 3 years. It's the same matchup again. But, I'm excited to talk about it. Excited to talk about a lot of different things. I haven't been on here in so long that to be honest, I don't really remember all that much about the overall theme of this, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I know it.
I'm Anna. It has also been a minute since I've been on Sports Voice, but I've never been more excited to be on a show and just talk about some ball with some great people. So
Yes. There we go. We will be doing plenty of that today. And unfortunately, we start with Northwestern Sports, and it's one of the rougher Northwestern Sports segments I think that we will have had as hosts of this show. Not only for Northwestern men's and women's basketball have neither team accumulated a win within the past week, but just devastating news breaking this afternoon. Brooks Barnheiser, Northwestern star player this year, one of my personal favorite athletes I've had the chance to watch, just the way he plays the game, announced by Chris Collins out for the season. Just really devastating stuff. I want to swing it over to you guys. I want to first talk to Eli and Anna because I know you guys were both in the room when it happened. I actually found out from both of your tweets. I was like you guys broke the news to me, so shout out to that. I know both your tweets are getting a lot of traction because it's big news. I mean, it's really it's unfortunate stuff. Both of you guys there for the daily. So just tell me what it was like, kind of being in the room and it's rough news as a Northwestern fan.
Yeah, rough is certainly the word. One of the probably the most emotionally charged press conference I've ever been in. I don't know about you, Anna, but Chris Collins came in and even from the first answer where he hadn't said anything about Barnheiser's status, you could tell that he was really affected. He started crying when he was talking about how the team had rallied around each other during today's loss to Wisconsin, which had a strong first half, played pretty well overall, but just couldn't survive a barrage of 3 points from Wisconsin. But yeah, I mean, Collins, really the whole 10-15 minutes he was in there, he was just solid. He really, you could tell just how much this player, Brooks Barnheiser, means to him. They've been through a lot together. Obviously, Barnheiser, a key part of 2 March Madness runs for Chris Collins' team. And you can just tell the way Collins speaks about him that, he has a lot of respect for the way Brooks plays the game, the way he just leaves his heart, and leaves his heart out and puts his body on the line every single minute, every single game. And he's not the only one who's going to miss this. I think I can speak for the entire Northwestern fan base when I say that it's a real devastating blow today.
Echoing that, I've definitely never been a part of a press conference like that. I mean, even I was filming his opening statement, and even from that, he was talking about how the guys, had to do some things without Brooks, and he was breaking down. I wasn't for sure if that's what it was after seeing everything, but he was getting choked up, just in his opening statement before he even mentioned anything, and he really just couldn't contain himself. The whole room fell flat. I was feeling bad for him, and I think everyone was just everyone was emotional regardless of what you were doing there for whatever reason.
And then to swing it over now to Matt and to Caleb, were you guys at this game today?
Yeah, I was at the game, and I feel like just not having Brooks on the court was definitely something that you could tell his presence was not there, and it'll be tough to see how the team can kind of hopefully rally around him for the rest of the season with a big loss, because I feel like he's as you were kind of saying, as we've all really been saying, he's kind of the heart and soul of the team, I would say, let alone just probably the best player on the team.
I was actually...
You were here, right?
I was here. I was hosting an emergency meeting of Crashing the Boards when the news broke, and Calvin broke the news to us live on the show. And I was kind of shocked, which is weird to say because I'm a first year, so I'm not as connected to this program as, all the other people. I believe, am I the only underclass? Am I the only first year here?
I think all sophomores, except for you.
All sophomores except for me. But it still hurt me a lot as a Northwestern basketball fan, as a Northwestern student, because Brooks Barnheiser embodies, Chris Collins basketball of being gritty, grinding out games, playing stellar defense, hustling after every... This man puts his body on the line every single game. This is a guy that joined the Northwestern team early on a hurt foot, got his front 2 teeth knocked out on a Friday practice, and proceeded to play the very next Monday. This is a guy that almost broke his nose on a dunk and stayed in the game. And so, that kind of hurts to see, his play style nip him in the bud and eventually unceremoniously end his senior season and end his tenure here at Northwestern when he deserves so much better. It sucks, to be blunt. It sucks.
Yeah, well, Matt, you're certainly right about losing Brooks Barnheiser. While it's possible that he could gain a 5th year of eligibility due to this injury, it was already something Northwestern was looking at. We're not sure, how likely that possibility is. If it's career-ending, that's devastating. Even if it's season-ending, that's a really tough break for the Wildcats. The energy did feel a little bit down in Welsh Ryan Arena today. The Cats managed to go on an early run in this Wisconsin game. Kind of got people hyped up a little bit. Ty Berry felt like he was back in it. But pretty much after that, it was difficult. The Badgers made a lot of contested threes. The Cats just couldn't match that offensive output, and so it was a tough game. But moving on to perhaps a worse season for Northwestern's other basketball team, women's basketball lost versus Iowa 75-70.
Yeah.
This game, another one of several close
85 to 80, actually.
85
I must have mistyped that in the... yeah.
Yes.
85 to 80.
Lock in, Sammy. What are you doing, bro?
Close one. But yes, still a quite close loss for the Wildcats. Another one, in a series of losses that the Cats have had, conference losses. They've not won a single conference game this year so far. We kept, kind of counting that number up on SportsVoice, and it just keeps going up. So we'll repeat the stat a bit more basically. We don't have to elaborate much.
Cats fought, as they have for, so many of these games that, haven't all been complete blowouts, but once again, they came up short. So, for our guests, and we'll start with Anna here, how do we grapple with this season, and how does this team keep pushing forward through this?
Yeah, I mean, this is like you said, been a very frustrating season for Northwestern because their roster has definitely become more talented through their acquisitions, in the portal and developing more of their talent. Like, I think undeniably this team is more talented than it was last year, and unfortunately the Big Ten with conference realignment has just gotten more difficult, and it's not really something they can control, and they've been in a lot of close games, and I think that's the key for this team. That's something to keep in mind for them, is that they're coming close in these games. They're not far away, so if they can keep that in mind and recognize the talent that they have and the potential that this program has, that's the key to keeping going in this season.
I mean, I think a lot of what Anna said is very true. Like, they definitely have more this year than they had last year, which is something, there's signs of improvement there. But, when it's all said and done, it seems like they're still just falling short. Like, they've had some very close games against teams that are pretty good, and as we've been talking about, like, with realignment, it's gotten tougher. Like, with adding UCLA, Oregon, and USC, and other schools like that. Mm-hmm. But like, it's gotten to a point where you've gotta play, winning basketball whole time, and it hasn't been there for the Cats.
Yeah, I'd concur with what both Anna and Caleb said there. I think a really good way to sort of sum up this team is if you look at the stats and the points per game, Northwestern has 5 players averaging more than 10 points per game and no players averaging more than 12 points per game. So this is a team full of a lot of good role players, a lot of players who, as a 4th or 5th starter on a Big Ten team, are completely serviceable, are talented, are hardworking, but there's just no X factor. There's no one who can take control of the game, who can, command the floor, who can get assists, score, get rebounds, do all of the above. It's just a lot of players who are good at a few things, but no one who's good at everything. And so I think when you're playing in one of the best conferences in the country, as Anna and Caleb have mentioned, that just doesn't quite cut it. But yeah, another good fight, another close game against a good team, but just can't quite get the job done.
This season in general for women's basketball has made zero sense because, this team has 5-6 legitimate scorers on the team. I can think of Kaylee Walsh comes to mind. Taylor Williams comes to mind. Zamaya Walton off the bench, in theory, should be somebody that gives you a solid 12, 15 points a game. Caroline Lau should be the facilitator on this team, racking up assists, and it's just not clicking, Even with Kat Regheimer just emerging as this reliable 6, 7, 8th woman off the bench, this team just can't figure it out, and I don't know. I'm out of answers, Like, it's just not. Looking back at this game, Taylor Williams was so inefficient from the field. Inefficient, honestly, in the past 3 games, and had 5 turnovers. I honestly thought at some point she should have been on the bench. And I thought she should sit tomorrow when the Cats take on number 16 Michigan State. But then again, if you're Coach McEwen, how do you put that amount of faith into somebody else when this team has proven time and time again they just can't come together and start clicking as a cohesive unit? It doesn't make any sense. I'm just very confused how this far into the season that this team hasn't figured it out. And that's not to say this team is bad at all. It's just to say I don't know how they haven't gelled yet.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I was at this game. I had the chance to be there for WNUR Sports, of course, down in Iowa City. Great experience. Loved that venue. Carver Hawkeye was a great place to be for that sport, especially. I mean, I don't think there are many places for women's basketball in the world that get as excited for their team as they do in Iowa City. It was very, very cool to see. And I think because of that, I got to give the Cats a lot of credit in this game. It's tough. I mean, Iowa's not what they were last, but I mean, they competed with a solid Iowa team that was ranked not that long ago in their place, which is one of the toughest places to play. And it wasn't just like, okay, it wasn't like the Michigan State men's game where, like, they were getting blown out the whole time and brought it back close. Like, it was a close game throughout, and, I mean, they were out of it with 3 minutes to go, down 12. They brought it back within 3. They went on a run at the end. I mean, this is a team that has a lot of fight, and it has talent. But, Eli, I like what you said. There just isn't an X factor. There just isn't someone, like, you maybe, like, I was kind of thinking it could be Mel Daly this year, but, I mean, you know, she's still coming off the bench, and which is another discussion. But, like, without that rhythm, like, she just hasn't been able to be that X factor. And I mean, Kaylee Walsh has flashes where, I mean, she has really good games. She hasn't been able to be the one for Northwestern, and it's really frustrating because this is a good group, and there's a lot of players, a lot of veterans on this team that won't be playing college basketball again next year. Like the 3 transfers that have made a big impact. Kaylee Walsh, I believe, will be done after this year, and with all those players heading out, we have this conversation every week, but the future, I have a lot of hope for this team. Like, there is light at the end of this dark tunnel that they've been on for the past few years. Matt, you mentioned Kat Righeimer. I mean, she had a coming out party in whoever they were playing, Indiana? Was it that game?
I think so.
I think it was the Indiana game.
The Illinois game.
Illinois game, yes.
Illinois.
Right, Illinois game, because they're getting blown out, and she had a few big shots there. She's a young piece. Taylor Thomas, Zamaya Walton, you also mentioned. They're going to be big.
Claire Keswick, who we haven't even seen yet.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of...
Somebody that's going to be a spot-up shooter.
There's a lot of high-caliber young recruits in this team. And then you have Caroline Lau, who still has a few years left. Casey Harder, who is... I think there's a big ceiling for her. She's one of the better shooters on this team.
Grace Sullivan coming back and being the leader, that's also huge.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of pieces here that, you know, whether Joe McEwen comes back, whether he doesn't, we'll see. But I have a lot of hope for this team, despite what has been a bleak season. And look, there's still a chance that they make this Big Ten tournament. You just have to avoid being, I think, the bottom 3 or 4 teams. So
yes, but the problem is Northwestern has been playing like a bottom 3 or 4 team.
I mean, I would argue
how it is, Sammy.
I would argue they've been playing a lot better than that. They've just been falling on the wrong side of a lot of these games. I mean, Iowa's a top half team in the conference. They were right with them the entire time. They were right. I mean, they were beating Minnesota. I mean, forget about that fourth quarter.
Minnesota was a game that they should have won handily.
They were beating a ranked team. They have a chance tomorrow too against Michigan State, another ranked team. But my point is, they've been playing good basketball, and they've been falling on the wrong side of a lot of these games. If they could string together a few wins, which is very, very possible, I think there's a chance they win a game in the Big Ten tournament. Is it small? Yes, it's very small, but there is talent here, and I have believed in this group of players really since the beginning of the season, which has made it very frustrating. But with that, Claire, unless you want to add anything, I think it may be time to move on to Pick'em. We have a sound effect.
It is time to move on to Pick'em. We haven't used our Pick'em open sound effect ever before, but since we're in the control room this time, we feel like we're going to try it out.
I don't know what it sounds like, so let's see. Oh. Maybe it won't play.
Play the other one.
Wait, hold on. We're not getting anything. Wait.
The audience is holding.
Oh, there we go.
It's time for Pick'em.
There we go. Ooh.
Let's get ready to rumble!
That is so
okay,
unreal.
guys, that was electric.
That's so
How have we never
unreal.
used that? we're using
Yeah.
that every episode now.
All right. Very glad to have brought the Pick'em Open back. That was pretty cool. I think we missed like half of it, but we got the Let's Get Ready to Rumble in there, so that's big.
We did miss half of it, but we assure you we've got a full pick'em up ahead. 3 questions. For any brand new listeners tuning in for the first time for Sportsathon, Pick'em is one of our 2 game segments on this show. Sammy and I have prepared 3 kind of creative sports-related questions for our guests. They can answer. There aren't technically any right answers or wrong answers. I think really there are right answers and wrong answers. And Sammy and I will judge each of the answers on their creativity, correctness, spiciness, just sort of a variety of things.
This is in fact a judgment zone. You will be judged.
Yes, exactly. But so just to kick us off, our first question tonight, the tribe has spoken. I didn't sign up in time for Sports Survivor, which is another show that I'll do a quick promo for here later on in Sportsathon. But we're going to do kind of our own little take on that concept and of voting somebody off the island. So given the conference expansion that the Big Ten has had, we've added a lot of schools. There are some schools that have been in the Big Ten forever that some people still don't like. Maybe, they wish they could kick them out of the conference. And that's exactly what we'll be doing here. You get to pick one team out of the entire Big Ten conference, kick them out of the conference. You can explain why. This can be any reason, but if you have one team, you have to, or get to, depending on your view, kick out of the Big Ten conference. Who is it and why? This time we'll start with Matt.
This is a no-brainer. Ohio State. Get Ohio State out the Big Ten.
Okay.
Send them to the SEC. I don't want to see. I don't want to see.
Oh,
I
yes,
don't want to see
Columbus,
Ryan.
the Southeast.
Yeah, I don't care.
UCLA is not the Midwest. I mean, none of this is geography.
I don't care. The realignment has screwed everything up. Just throw them in there with Alabama.
To be fair,
and
the SEC is the
Mississippi
one
State
conference
as
that is at least like kind of had some geographic like semblance.
Of integrity.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
How long do I have to
Historically,
defend my
that's a lot.
take?
Yeah.
Do I have a minute? Do I have a minute to defend my take? How long do I have?
Let's
Like
see.
30 seconds.
Sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's be quick. Like, we can all agree that the Ohio State fan base is the worst fan base to deal with, and it's not even close in terms of Big Ten. So that's 1. 2, I hate seeing Ryan Day's face in the college football playoff. I hate seeing his face on stage. And 3, Jeremiah Smith is like a cheat code. 4, I did not expect Cardinal Tate to put up 3 touchdowns at Wrigley, but he did. So screw Ohio State. I hate the football team. I hate Ryan Day. Get him out of here. Throw him in that dookie, crappy league with Alabama and whoever else is in the SEC.
All right.
All right, I'm going to have to go with Iowa here. Coming into college, I had no sort of bias against Iowa, but just last year I had so many negative experiences with their fans, with their teams. Coming in, we had the Wrigley game last year where the Wrigley was just packed with Iowa fans. They were just so annoying. And then men's basketball at home, our 1 conference loss at home of the season, when they just, were kind of unconscious from 3, couldn't miss. It was like they were playing the game of their lives. And then even just coming in this season, just the most heartbreaking buzzer beater when should have won that game. And I'm tired of seeing Iowa beat us in the most disappointing fashion possible. So I have nothing against Caitlin Clark, but I only wish she didn't play for such a classless university.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting. I think mine is like on the other spectrum. I feel like Northwestern always beats this team, and it's Maryland.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's our state.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Well, that's the problem. Like, they don't have any, like, I feel like they just don't belong. Like,
No,
they
they
have
belong.
no rival. Like, Rutgers? No.
Well,
Penn State? No, because, Penn State is more of a Ohio State or some of those bigger schools.
the Maryland
rival.
Duke rivalry used
Exactly.
to be electric.
So they
yeah.
need to go back to the ACC. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I could get
I
behind
don't
that.
think they
Yeah.
belong in the Big Ten because they just I don't know, they don't fit. And also, like, I don't know how, but Northwestern always beats them. So, like, if Northwestern can always beat them in any sport, it seems like, then they deserve to get relegated.
I'll say I'm very glad of that fact. Eli, you know good old Tyler Lochte. I'll give him a shout out. Friend of mine at WMUC, I think is their radio station. I always get to rub that into them. We even beat them in baseball.
Yes,
that's their sport.
Yeah, that's insane.
Our only Big Ten series win last year was against Maryland. Made me very, very happy. So
wow.
Get to rub it into all my friends back in the homeland.
All right, so I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to kick out Northwestern.
Oh, that's the wrong answer.
Okay.
What?
No.
Okay, wait.
Northwestern is the only school that just doesn't fit in. Like, okay, private school, low enrollment, and doesn't really have
Wow.
any prestige.
Wait, can we turn off her mic? Can we do that?
I can't do that.
Cut her mic.
This is
Cut her
what
mic right
all
now.
of- This is what all of the other schools say when they're trying to kick us out because we don't contribute as much to the media rights deals. Like, this is literally, this is the argument that they make. We, from just, almost a kind of Politburo-esque standpoint, I can't let you continue to say that because it disrupts my image. So,
We're trying to raise money here. Come on.
I mean, WNUR doesn't have to be in the Big Ten. There's the
Wow.
money to do that.
I am shocked that no one said Rutgers. How did no one say Rutgers? Rutgers is the clear right answer here. They just, in no sense of the word, at least Maryland competes. Maryland's pretty good at some sports. What is Rutgers good at? Rutgers is good at nothing. They're not in the Midwest. They do not belong. They need to go to the MAAC or something. I don't know.
That hits a little too close for home.
Apologies.
I was gonna go with Rutgers, but I was like, nah, I can't do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
that went a different direction than I thought it was gonna
That's
go.
wild. Yeah, I probably would normally say I would. At first, when I was thinking about this, when I wrote this question, I was like, I feel like I'd have to kick out UCLA because that's sort of my home, childhood.
No one
sports
kicked out
team.
the West Coast
And
schools.
I hate
What are we doing?
No, but here's why. It's as much as I can't stand the idea that UCLA, complete with Harvard Westlake's very own Trent Perry, are going to come into Evanston, destroy the Wildcats, and I'm gonna have to be sad about that. That's a weird, combination of interests for me. But I think the problem here is I said one school. If you could kick UCLA and USC out of the Big Ten, or if you could kick out that whole suite of former Pac-12 schools, that would work. That would be fantastic. The problem is that there's no conference for them to go back to, and there are no rivalries. All their rivalries are tied up in the Big Ten now.
I can't believe no one said.
Get
I can't believe no one said Rutgers. Come on.
I think they should.
It's got to be Rutgers.
They got to bring back the Big Ten West.
Although they do have to bring back. I feel like this is not a good week for us to be saying that because they did own us in basketball. Shout out Ace Bailey, who is actually the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
That was truly one of the craziest things.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. I mean, he dropped 39, 37? 37.
And 13
Eli on the
minutes.
call.
It's
man-
every time the PA announcer is like, Ace Bailey, I'm like, you don't have to say
No.
that. We know who that was.
We
know
understand.
exactly who that was.
Yeah.
Well, we can move on to the next question.
Yeah.
We'll release winners at the end. Yeah.
All right. Live Moss. That's a fun title. Claire put that title on. I'm a
Live
fan.
Moss, because it's not live.
Live Moss. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, yes, that makes sense. Okay, so earlier this week, this is actually when I was in Iowa City with WNUR legend Gabe Shumway, and we get to our hotel room. We just went on this 4-hour bus ride. We're tired. We flip on the TV, and it's Arizona hosting Iowa State. Looked like a pretty good game. It was close. We're like, all right, I'll tune in, see what's going on over here. And within a few minutes, Caleb Love hit the most unbelievable shot I have ever seen anyone hit in my entire life of watching basketball. When I was live watching the game. Unbelievable stuff. I can't believe I turned into the TV at the perfect right moment to watch that. It was just unbelievable. So that was probably the craziest thing I've seen live. So in that spirit, I want to turn it over to you guys. What is the craziest sports moment that you have seen live on TV? It wasn't like you saw it on Instagram Reels, wasn't on SportsCenter, wasn't on Top 10. You were watching TV live when this happened. Let's see, we started with Matt, so we'll start with Anna and go down that way.
Praying I won't be silenced this time. So I've got to go with 2010, the ambush in the Super Bowl. The Saints. I was 4.5. But I was at my grandparents' house on the couch watching this, and admittedly, I didn't know what was really going on. But when the ambush happened, I just remember everyone erupting, and I was like, what the heck is happening? And just started tuning into the game, and you know what? I would attribute this moment to my emergence in sports. So
All
it was
right,
a great
cool.
moment overall. And it can't ever happen again because of the new onside kick rules.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you say a Saints moment, because I was also thinking a Saints moment. Unfortunately,
Oh.
it goes against the Saints.
Oh,
and it's
we all
the
know what this is, I
Minneapolis
think.
Miracle. That was crazy.
Oh, I was thinking something different, actually. I was thinking the no call.
Oh,
The Saints have had a fair share
The
of
Saints have had
unfortunate
some
moments.
unfortunate moments in the playoffs in recent years, but that,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I feel like I was screaming at the defender. I think it was Marcus Williams.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you diving at somebody to tackle them? First off, that's not good football. And then you let him catch the ball and he just scores. Diggs, like, what are you doing?
Hey, Maryland, we're both from Maryland, Cable and I.
Yes.
Maryland legend,
Right,
Stephon
yeah.
Diggs. I think he was supposed to go to my high school and then he went private. So I'll take a little win with that one. Maryland legend.
I'm gonna also have to go with the football one. I'm gonna go with the kick six, the Chris Davis
Yes.
109-yard missed field goal return for Auburn against Alabama to win the Iron Bowl. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I remember I watched the start of this game at my grandparents' house in Philadelphia, and we drove home during the middle of the game, and we got home, and it was like late in the fourth quarter. We turned it on, and they send out Adrian Griffith for this 57-yard field goal return, and it was their backup kicker because their starting kicker had missed 3 field goals, and they bring on the backup kicker for this long field goal. What are they doing? What's going on? Why is this guy kicking a field goal with 3 seconds left? Tie game. Send a guy back, catches it, just absolutely electric.
And
one of the greatest things I've ever
one
seen.
of the greatest calls ever.
Oh, yes.
Like the Auburn's gonna win the football game.
Yes,
Auburn's gonna win the
yeah.
football game.
It's my favorite
It
call.
like
Yeah.
that's gotta be that's gotta be my favorite. That's such a good one.
All right, I'm kind of obligated to keep the vibes up. I'm also going football. Malcolm Butler on the goal line.
Oh.
That was okay. To backtrack, I was 10 years old. 10 years old. I made a bet with my dad. Loser buys pizza next weekend
Ooh.
for the family. And I was kind of gutted when the Seahawks ended up down 4 with about two minutes left to go. And then the crazy helmet catch happened, and I was like, yeah, this game's over, dude.
Was that Curse, right?
That was Jermaine
Curse.
Curse. Jermaine Curse, and I was over the moon. I was like, yep. The Seahawks are on the 2-yard line. All they got to do is give the ball to Marshawn. You got 4 tries with the best running back in all of the NFL, and you're on the 1.5-yard line. It's so simple. And then the very next play, I'm like, wait, why is Russell Wilson dropping back? And he throws a slant. Malcolm Butler jumps the route, and he knew that they were going. And you knew if it was a pass route, it was going to the right side because they had been picking on him all game. And I was like, no, please don't jump it. Please don't jump it. And he jumped it. And I was like, oh, no. I was on the floor, devastated. Just absolutely heartbreaking to see Tom Brady get another. I was so tired of Tom Brady at that point. I appreciated him when I got older, but I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I kind of want to see Marshawn Lynch get a ring. And, it never happened. So, gutted it. I forever have beef with Pete Carroll for that play call.
Yes.
Forever have beef with Pete Carroll for that.
Pete Carroll was the USC football coach earlier in his career, so I also have beef with him. But that was one of the craziest football moments that I've seen. I think it was probably like a defining memory for me in elementary school because I remember getting back to school the next day, and I had a lot of friends who were Patriots fans and a lot of friends who were Seahawks fans, and everyone, nobody would shut up about it, and kids were getting into arguments with teachers, and it was just like the first day of my life where it felt like a sports moment took over the whole next day. So, awesome moment. And now our third and final question, and we'll do kind of rapid fire style on this because we are short on time. This one I call Bad News Cats, because after the Bad News Bears,
Sammy and I might have gone the sports commentary route for a reason, but if you could place each of us on any sports team, college or professional, or I guess club or Olympic, I don't know, you might have creative answers. Olympic, yeah, I don't know why you would do that.
Cool.
But which one would you pick for each of us? So 2 separate teams, unless you think we would both be on the same, like, co-ed team.
I'm very scared for these answers. I don't.
Oh, am I starting?
Yes.
Okay. I think what is going on with this mic? For Claire, it's got to be obvious. She's tall. She looks athletic. I gotta go volleyball. Like it's kind of a no-brainer. I think she'd just be an incredible blocker. So
Would not be the first middle blocker from Harvard Westlake.
Yeah.
Like volleyball for Northwestern.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Kennedy Hill.
Friend of the show,
So,
Kennedy Hill.
let's
I'm
go.
so sorry, Kennedy Hill, that I've been compared to you. It is an insult to your talent, athleticism, hard work, capability, everything.
Blame Sammy for that
but thank
because
you, Matt.
he's the one that.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
Okay, so Claire, Northwestern
Uh-oh.
volleyball.
Oh, boy.
Sammy. Ooh, let's go soccer. I
That's
feel like Sammy's.
oh no.
I feel like Sam. Okay, hear me out. I feel like Sammy's.
Oh, God.
Sammy's quick. He's nimble. He's shifty.
All
I
right.
feel like he'd be a pretty good attackman. You know, I feel like he'd rack up some assists. Like
I think I'd be all right, except for the fact that I can't kick.
it's
probably.
It's all good.
There's probably something I'd want to learn.
It's all good. Sammy would be like a
He's so
one.
nimble, he misses the ball.
Yeah, and he was like
No,
like the clip of Charlie Brown when
Right.
they take the football. Like that's me, but like no one's doing anything to the soccer ball. It's just sitting
Hey,
there.
all you need is one touch. All you need is one touch.
There we go.
Just like give it to a loser.
Call me Lionel Messi, I guess.
Call him Lionel Messi.
All right, so for Claire, I'm going to put her on the Golden State Valkyries, the new WNBA team. Obviously, she's got the height, but more importantly, she's got the Northwestern connection with Veronica Burton. So
Yeah.
I think that would go
There we
great.
go.
And then Sammy, I've seen him play basketball at Blom, and I think Sammy is the definition of a hustle player. Right now, Northwestern basketball really missing a hustle player in Brooks Barnheiser, so throw Sammy in there,
Let's
have
go.
him dive on the floor, charge in
Yep.
off the glass for some offensive rebounds. I think could really save our season.
Yeah, you know what? I don't need these teeth. I can lose them.
All right. I think I'm gonna start with Sammy. I would put Sammy on the Chicago Cubs.
Let's go.
Because
There we
that
go.
is your
That is
favorite and I think if you had to start for the Cubs, they would be worse. So that would be
Yes.
great for my St. Louis Cardinals.
So this is just okay. I see how it
But
is.
also, no, it's good for you too because you
I get to be on the
live your
Cubs.
dream. And
No,
be
you know
a
what?
Cubs
If
player.
I would make the Cubs worse. I'm selfish. I would go on the Cubs, man.
And then for Claire, I would say I'm gonna go the similar route as Eli. I'm gonna say the LA Sparks. I think basketball seems about right for Claire. Tall, seemingly athletic player, and they've had a storied franchise, and I think that'd be very fitting.
Alright, so I'm going a bit of a different route, like more of like a vibes route. So,
Alright.
Sammy, you're like sort of like to me, you're like a jovial guy, light. So I'm gonna go
Jovial guy.
with both Team USA badminton.
Ooh, all right.
You are quick on your feet. You can navigate the court, and you're like light like the birdie.
I love that. Yes.
Claire, I feel as if, you're very, you're very passionate and you're very level-headed, which is why I think you would make a great fit for Team USA bowling.
Yes.
They are just, the composure required for that is immense, and I think you have what it takes.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Thank you.
Right.
If you had to put me on any Olympic team, I think I would be great at curling. If I figured out how to not slip on the ice. I know how to do chores. I feel like my room gets so dusty, I'm sweeping it all the time. It's basically the same mechanic.
Is that
I
like?
don't know if that's sexist.
Is this
but,
is like? Does she get her curling skills from like wiping off her desk with like Lysol wipes or something? Like what?
Meyer's lavender scented cleaning solution, always.
Yes.
But
Oh my god.
no, hey, mopping the floor, I feel like that's a similar skill set
Yes.
to curling, so I could do it. I'm so honored that everyone thinks that my height also means that I'm really athletic and would be good at basketball. That's really nice of all of you. There's a thing called hand-eye coordination that people say I don't have.
Oh,
So
no.
we're gonna
Wow.
go with that as the reason why being 5'11" didn't really lead to much in my career. Volleyball is the furthest I ever got. I did play volleyball through much of elementary school, but I was afraid of the ball, which is normally not what you want in a volleyball player.
Okay, so I was on the right track. Okay, goodbye to listener.
Sammy, any comments?
No, those are all really fun. And I like that they're all a little bit different too. That I was a little scared, but you guys, there was no reason to be scared. It was all good.
Absolutely. So I guess to pick our winners, I'll start us off on the first one.
Sure.
I'm gonna have to go with Caleb and Maryland. I think Maryland is a
Yeah.
school that does feel like it belongs more in the ACC conference. I think as much as Ohio State and Iowa fans annoy me, from just like a media rights perspective, like they probably bring more money into the conference since those are often big games that people want to watch, especially Ohio State. I don't know that we can afford to part with them. I wish I could give Anna, negative points for saying Northwestern.
Yeah.
As much as I adore her, that's a crazy answer. But yes, I am going to have to go with Caleb for question 1.
All right, question number 2. I gotta have to go with Eli here.
Yes.
The kick 6 was just you can't you won't experience that again. I think a Minneapolis Miracle, something like that may happen again, but at the end of a game, a kick return touchdown off a field goal, and in the Iron Bowl, in a year in which both teams were pretty good. And I'll always remember it because I had a good friend that was an Auburn fan at the time. I remember the day afterwards I saw him at school and he was like, oh my god. I mean, it was just crazy game. I mean, it's tough to top the kick 6. So I'll go with Eli.
And to round us off for Bad News Cats, I'm going to have to go with Anna on this. I think she redeemed herself after the Northwestern answer. These are really creative to me. I think, I am very obviously tall. Sammy, everyone thinks you're super nimble.
Guys, thank you. This is incredible. Wow.
Great. But I think that Anna, these were super creative. Somehow the idea that each of us could represent our countries in anything athletic is
America.
It just feeds into maybe an ego that I didn't know I had. But yeah, I think bowling is probably the sport that I would see myself succeeding at most of these. I will have to assume that I get bumpers in the lane, which might not be a thing in Olympic bowling. I probably know for a fact it's not, but I think I could do that.
So, and I do want to get to this draft day because we have a fun one coming up. Super Bowl is a pretty big story that we have to touch on. So real quick, I want to go down the line, score prediction, and one big thing that's going to happen in the game, whether that's not the score. Another prediction outside of the score can be a stat, can be something from the halftime show. Maybe Drake comes and they resolve their beef. I don't know. But just score prediction and then some other prediction. Make it nice and quick.
Score prediction. I got 45-42 Eagles. Unrelated to the game, I think we have another idiot that streaks the field for the Super Bowl, which is very basic, but you can't go wrong. I can't be wrong about that.
I'm going to go 29-24 Eagles. We're banking on a Jake Elliott missed extra point at some point, but otherwise I think they'll take it. And then something else, I think we're going to have a roughly 3-minute long message from Trump during a commercial break.
I could see that happening.
All right. Unfortunately, I'm going to say 27-20 Chiefs win. And I'm going to say that the Gatorade color is red because the Chiefs win. That is something you can bet on, I think, and I would bet red.
I'm going to go in a similar fashion, 27-24 Chiefs, and my one other prediction is that the lights go out again in New Orleans. We've all seen it before in New Orleans. got some things going on. So
Yeah, that's another sports moment live I'll never forget. It's just like, and the lights are out. That was a great Super Bowl too. The Harbaugh Bowl. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, fun answers, guys. And it's time for our draft day. Which, Claire, do you want to familiarize the people with our plans?
Absolutely. So our draft day segment, we always do a quick little snake draft. It's fun, sports related. Last time, I think we were drafting basketball teams of non-basketball athletes. We had some really interesting answers.
You missed one. That was the one that you weren't at. We did presidents, which was really fun.
Oh, presidents!
Yeah.
Wow.
We may have to run that one back, actually.
I did have to miss a week of SportsVoice, but so for presidents.
Yes, we'll have to run it back at some point.
Yes, we will. So but this week we are doing a draft, a 3x3 basketball.
Yes, 3v3 basketball
3v3
team.
basketball, and it's musical artists.
Yeah.
So we didn't specify if this is a men's or women's basketball team.
It can be both.
It can be both.
Oh yeah. This is co-ed. Yes.
Just sort of best musical artists, or I won't even say musical artists who you think would be the best basketball players. Like that's limiting your creativity a bit. You can give us some wacky answers, but just draft a 3-person basketball team of musical artists.
And we could start. We'll start with Anna.
All right, I'm sorry for my first pick, but I need an anchor. It's got to be LiAngelo Ball.
Okay, I knew that was coming.
So basic. It's like what?
All right, I'm gonna take someone who's not quite on LiAngelo's Ball's level, but almost, and J. Cole.
Okay.
All right, now that Anna's gone that route, we've opened a can of worms. I'm going to select Victor Oladipo. Absolutely fantastic rendition.
Another
Casey
Maryland
Musgraves'
legend, shall I add.
Rainbow on The Masked Singer. Just an amazing musical artist and a pretty good basketball
Eli, I remember when you
too.
showed that to me. I was not familiar with that. For those of you watching on YouTube, as soon as we finish SportsVoice, look up Victor Oladipo, Masked Singer. He's got pipes. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
I'm a big rap head. So I got two off the dome. Give me Dame Dollar at point guard.
Oh, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Dame Dollar
But what
point
other
guard.
picks do you have saved up for us?
And give me Shaq Diesel.
No one puns?
Oh yeah! Wow. So I mean, he's got Damian Lillard and Shaquille O'Neal out here. All right, so that's tough to top.
All right, joining Victor Oladipo in the squad is going to be Shakira. Hips don't lie. I mean, she's just clearly a very athletic individual. Just the amount of cardio, amount of dancing she has to do in a show. I think she could really be a hustle player, 40 minutes a game, get the job done. Athletic defense.
And you can utilize her in so many ways, whenever, wherever.
I'm gonna go with another female artist. I'm gonna go with Megan Thee Stallion. She's gonna be my anchor down low. Posting up, great player to have.
Savage pick.
I'm sorry for what I did opening that can of worms. I will say LiAngelo is not an NBA player, but my next pick is Sabrina Carpenter. She's small. I'm thinking Muggsy Bogues type player that she can navigate through the paint and all that. And then I'll do Machine Gun Kelly for that height. I need to balance Sabrina Carpenter's Muggsy Bogues-esque stature.
All right, I'm gonna go my last pick. I'm gonna go Drake because he's around basketball all the time. Yeah. I mean, have you seen a picture of him in his Duke hoodie, like he's on the team? Kentucky hoodie, like he's on the team. I want that on my team.
Yeah, I think with my final pick, I'm gonna have to go for Snoop Dogg. First of all, he's got the height. He's I think 6'4", 6'5". Seems pretty athletic. Also, just seems like he's got swagger. Like he's got creativity. He's gonna make plays happen. So excited to have him on the team.
All right, so I got my guard. I got my big. So I need a 3. I need somebody who's shifty. I need somebody with great footwork. I need somebody who can really facilitate the offense and be a leader. So there's no other choice but the GOAT, MJ. And no, I'm not talking Jordan. I'm talking Jackson. It's just, I gotta get away from the boring NBA players who happen to be rappers in their free time. But you can't go wrong with MJ. That's the GOAT. in either context, by the way.
Yeah, well, oh man. Well, all right. So let's just run down the teams here really quickly. So we got Anna with LiAngelo Ball, Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina
LiAngelo and Sabrina. They can't be doing that to me. Sabrina.
I just want you to know that they're about to tear you apart as soon as you go into the other room.
No, 100%.
Sam, have you heard about Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Sabrina Carpenter and Machine Gun Kelly. Caleb has J. Cole, Megan Thee Stallion, and Drake. Eli has Victor Oladipo, but the Masked Singer version. Shakira and Snoop Dogg. And Matt has Dame Dolla, Shaq Diesel, and Michael Jackson. Wow.
Oh wait, I didn't realize he said Dame Dolla. I thought he said Dom Dolla, the EDM,
What?
the DJ. Who did, do you know the song "Saving Up"?
Yeah, that's
what I was making a reference to, but that's the wrong one. Okay, I'm gonna change that in our little doc here.
All right.
This is tough.
Oh, this is really tough. Mm. Well,
okay.
maybe Claire has more to say.
I'm gonna judge. Okay, so
you-
Caleb, this team is great. It has Drake, Megan Thee Stallion, J. Cole. I feel like, to quote J. Cole, that could work out for me. Eli's team, this is a great team. Victor Oladipo, I did not know about that.
Watch the video.
I'm
He's
gonna
such a
have to
good
check that
singer,
out.
actually.
That's actually really cool, and I feel like in that sense he can maybe sort of also bond with the other members of his team in terms of he plays basketball, he can teach them basketball, but they also sing. Snoop Dogg, I feel like he does the Olympics, he spends a lot of time around athletes. He could be pretty good at that. Shakira, she's just great. Matt's team, I think Michael Jackson, wouldn't that be a thriller? If he...
She gets it. She gets it.
That would be pretty great. Wait, he's not alive, right?
He is not
He's
alive.
not alive.
Oh, come on. I thought this was supposed to be... That was not in the rules.
It was drafted
Every
a
game.
3v3 basketball team of musical artists, but you drafted it dead.
I'm surprised no one else went anyone. I feel like you could draft.
Okay, why am I catching
No, I think that's fine. I think
So we'll just sort of we'll revive him. That's actually cool. If you bring Michael Jackson back.
Okay, if we're going that route, why is a 50-year-old Snoop Dogg playing 3v3 basketball in the first place? But okay, I digress. Go ahead.
All right.
No, that's all good points. So we'll just say we'll put all of them. I'm not gonna decide this.
Oh,
Who came up with this one?
okay. Yeah,
I thought you just wanted me.
Well,
to
look, I think from a purely basketball perspective, I think it's tough to argue with Matt's team here. And call it gaming the system, call it what you want, but I'm pretty sure Damian Lillard, Shaquille O'Neal, and Michael Jackson. I'm pretty sure they may have a bit of an edge on Victor Oladipo. Well, that's good. It's Shakira and Snoop Dogg, or better yet, J. Cole, Megan Thee Stallion, and Drake. That would be like a UMBC Virginia or whatever upset, that 16-1 type thing.
J. Cole would have to carry.
So Matt takes the cake for draft day.
So we all gotta win.
And yeah,
Look at that.
that
All gotta
is.
win.
It's 9:59. Good timing, guys. Thank you to all of you for coming on the show. It was electric. We love to have you back. We will let you know about next week if we have a show. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so figuring out all the details with that. But it's Sportsathon. We are the marathon does not end here. Coming up next, I will be back. I think we'll have we have a lot of people will be back for we got some Zvad, Sports Voice After Dark, and then Sports Voice After Dark. And we will keep going. So thank you for tuning in, and stay right here for Sports Voice After Dark.